Madam Speaker, this country is being treated to a kabuki theater in 3 acts. In the first act, the American people are told, we feel your anger. We share your anger. You have a right to be angry at AIG and all the others on Wall Street that are bailed out. But in the second act, Wall Street nitpicks to death any practical proposal that would be adverse to the interests of Wall Street. And then in the third act, we transfer $1 trillion to Wall Street on very favorable terms. That is to say, terms unfavorable to the taxpayer, terms very favorable to Wall Street. Now, the first act is one in which those of us who are angry are told that we are blinded by our anger and therefore should not participate in the decision-making. That should be left to those who are blinded by their gullibility for Wall Street's demands and entreaties. We're told that those of us who are angry are stupid peasants with pitchforks and torches. We're told that it's wrong to be angry with the bonuses because that's just the tip of the iceberg. And it's wrong to be angry with the $170 billion we gave to AIG because that's too complicated to talk about. The fact is AIG should have been in receivership. That would have voided its employment contracts. And we'll need to compare AIG to GM in just a second. That second act is one in which we nitpick to death any proposal Wall Street disagrees with. We had a proposal to impose taxation on excess compensation, and we're told, oh, we can't change the rules after the game. The fact is, this Congress has often passed tax laws a few months into 2009 or any particular tax year that would affect the 2009 tax year or even prior tax years. We've done it repeatedly. We just never did it to Wall Street. And then finally, we go to the third act, where we transfer $1 trillion to Wall Street as part of this public-private partnership. Now, how does that work? Wall Street puts up 6% of the money. They get 50% of the profits and 100% of the control. I would say those are terms very favorable to Wall Street. I am not blinded by my anger, but I am indeed angry. Now let us compare how we're dealt with AIG and how we dealt with General Motors. Both entities need to continue to produce. The AIG insurance companies are relatively safe. They're state regulated. They weren't part of the big disaster. The big disaster occurred at the parent company where they opened a casino. And all the guys on Wall Street and the powerful interests around the world went to the casino. They placed their bets. They bet against the mortgage market in the United States. They won, and they broke the bank. And now they are being paid every penny they are owed, down to the last penny. How can that be done when AIG is bust? Simple. Taxpayer money, $170 billion. Some of it, we put it into AIG, and tens of billions of dollars go to overseas banks within minutes. Now, how does that compare to the creditors, General Motors? General Motors owes its bondholders. They owe its retirees. And General Motors owes its workers. What is happening to what is owed by General Motors under these contracts? Those contracts are being shrunk. The bondholders are going to have to take about a third of what they're entitled to in cash. The retirees are going to get only about half of what they're entitled to in cash. And the UAW has already made substantial changes in their union contract. So with General Motors, there is either a bankruptcy or, and I hope we avoid a formal bankruptcy, there's in effect an informal bankruptcy. Well, what is a bankruptcy? It's a reorganization process in which the company goes forward, but its creditors have to take a haircut, have to lose money. And all of the creditors of General Motors are losing substantial amounts even people who worked their whole lives expecting retirement benefits and health benefits when they retired. They are taking major haircuts. What about the rich and powerful that AIG was owed money to? They're getting paid every penny. They demand it, and it comes from the American taxpayer. It's time that we respect the companies that do work, that make products.
Gentleman's time has
expired. It's time that we not hollow out our manufacturing sector. I yield back to the chair.